The rock band Slaves have had to change their name for fear of offending people. Welcome to Bonkers 2022, where the woke mob will stop at nothing to cancel art and to police our language, rendering much of it off limits and sucking any remaining joy out of our lives. Of course, these people, these woke bullies, don't understand context. This talented young group of musicians came up with their name because they'd stumbled from one low-paid, unfulfilling job to another. After all, the word slave has multiple meanings, or it did before it became highly politicised, like so many words, by groups seeking to leverage language for their own ends. Being terrified of what you're going to say next and what the consequences might be plays straight into the hands of these intolerant bullies. They've got all of us running scared. Even the wrong joke will get you cancelled now, as hard-left progressives are not just ruthless, unthinking and cruel, but famously witless and humourless too. The great joy of the English language is just how layered it is, and the word slave can refer to the literal meaning, the horrific sale and purchase of human beings, one of the worst crimes in history. Or it can refer to someone that's subservient to a senior, an authoritative figure, a boss perhaps, or a controlling friend or spouse. That's right, slave is a flexible and complex word. The best words are. It's a crying shame that this band felt the need to rename themselves, and as show business is all about branding, I fear it's unlikely they'll gain the same traction under their new title of Soft Play. They've been robbed of a perfectly sensible and reasonable name, and one that relates to their own humble story and personal struggles. But none of that is allowed in the Church of Woke. Just like the incredible song Fairy Tale of New York. You know that song, it's a Christmas classic. It involves an imagined conversation between two absolute scumbags in which the slang word used to refer to a gay person, which rhymes with maggot, is yelled by one of the characters. It's in character, it has context. This is how art works. And all of us enjoying that song for the last 30 years, gay people, straight people, bisexual people, there isn't anyone around Christmas time, especially after a few drinks, that won't be singing along to that great chorus. Except that chorus has now been edited for radio play and Christmas parties so that it aligns with politically correct scripture. It reminds me of a classic episode of Fawlty Towers in which Basil is uncomfortable in the company of a black doctor. The channel carrying the episode pulled it from their platform because it was offensive. Except the whole message was an anti-racist one. The storyline was mocking Basil Fawlty's innate xenophobia. I've had enough of this censorship, this extreme political correctness, and this assault on our great art. We now live in an era where 1984, the book, comes with a trigger warning, and yet no one can see the irony. Our great authors, comedians and musicians are self-censoring, writing and creating with one hand tied behind their back for fear that they could feel the wrath of the woke warriors next. We live in an era where incredible songs like Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones has effectively been banned because of references to slavery, and the Stones have vowed never to play that song again. That's progress, is it? All of this cancellation of art would make Chairman Mao proud. Our world is becoming less joyful, less spontaneous, less fun because of the moral police. Or the new Puritans, you could call them, as pointed out by the excellent Andrew Doyle in his new book of the same name. I've read it. It's an instant classic. The perfect Christmas gift, I would suggest. I've had enough of seeing creative people crushed like this, and I think that we, the public, should push back. I think that 2023 should be the year of wild political incorrectness, and we should be as outrageous as we possibly can be. It's time to overcorrect the other way, and once again enjoy the full freedom of our great language, and let artists express themselves again without fear of the consequences. If we don't push back against these bullies, we will be their slaves forever.